section. So back with another, this is a big one. This is finna be a tutorial, art tutorial. This is definitely gonna be a paid for course tutorial. I'm gonna drop it on YouTube for a limited time, but 9 times out of 10 if you're seeing this, you're in one of my courses. This is a high level one. So if you wanna learn how to make beautiful NFTs, portraits like this, tap in, watch this all the way through. This is gonna be a very high level art and painting NFT tutorial. So without further ado, go ahead and play this video. So in this video, this is actually a deep one for me. This is one of my good friends, Duff. He actually recently passed, so I did this for the family. Just something to show my condolences. And I don't know what happened. Spirit really took over me in this one. This is probably one of my most detailed paintings ever. I really love this painting. I really wanted to go deep and just kind of flex my muscles when it comes to this painting arena, and just so people can put some more respect on digital art. I know people are in this day and age, but I really wanted to push my personal limits, what I've done in the digital art space, and just show people that, you know, I'm not an artist to be played with. I'm really here to make a statement and say something. So had a lot of fun with this one. As you can see now, I'm finna adjust the type just to give it that extra detail. You know, you can read it. You know, dear Duff, you are loved and beautiful. You are loved and will forever be remembered in the hearts of all that know you're a smiling, beautiful entity. Rest in peace, King. You will be missed. This actually made some people cry. That was a really good feeling, and that's what it was for. You know, I wanted to engage, you know, the people, just give something smart. Like every detail is important, even though when you zoom all the way out you can't even see it, but it's something for the people that are true, not only lovers of art, but true lovers of him, just to show people that, yo, we're doing this. It's a different level of art. This is art for the people that really appreciate and really understand how much work artists put into the things that they create and the things that God puts in our heart to you know, cultivate for the world. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get straight into this tutorial. Like I said, we're going from beginning to end on this painting. I'm gonna try to keep it under an hour. Hopefully it'll be about 45 minutes, but it'll be a really good tutorial. I'm gonna make sure I thoroughly explain everything I do, my process, my mindset when it comes to making a painting like this. And then really quickly, I'm gonna show you kind of you see how the face looked in the beginning. This wasn't raw. You see where we went from the beginning to where we at now. So it's not no cap. I think I even show in here what it looked like from the beginning, and what I got from my reference image. I picked it because it was I show it in so this is the image, just to show you what I had came from. This is not no cap. This I really drew this. It wasn't nothing there in the beginning. I had to really pull up a couple reference pictures to really, you know, see his face and get his face. And once I mastered it, you know, God took over, and this was a beautiful piece. So y'all stay tuned. This is not none of that fake Lumez, you know what I'm saying, generated NFT or AI generated paintings. No, this is for the real digital artists and the real artists that's out here trying to cultivate and still, you know, make a name for themselves in the art space. So peace, love, and light. I had slick forgot about the intro, so sometimes we got deleted, but get you a good stylist. That's the major key. I got a Samsung laptop, so you want to get something with like you know, at least what is this, Intel 17, so at least like an i7 processor or more, just because especially when you get into big paintings, you're going to be doing a lot. It's going to be a lot of data for this to hold up. It's going to require a lot of RAM. So like 16 gigabytes of RAM is good, and like an i7 computer is good, or like an Alienware or something like that. So I'm just going to do a quick tutorial on just how to set up and how to get started. Everything else from there is just going to be, you know, just basically tapping in and having, you know, a high painter or high artistic IQ. So yeah. So gonna get you a brush. Grab your brush. So you're gonna go here to. I personally like the paintbrush the more, the airbrush, because it just gives you the most realistic kind of feel to a pencil. You're gonna find the size you want. The size is gonna vary depending on what size file you have. So for this one, it's a really big file, so 17 looks good. So as you can see, it's a nice consistency, nice flow. I'm just kind of playing now, but you see, if I want to go in there, boom. So it's really nice. If I want to do a little eye real quick, boom, boom. Cut that in. Real smooth, real nice. And then if you want to turn the opacity down, the way you do that is you're gonna go to brush density. So turn the density down a little bit. You can turn the hardness down a little bit. Now you have a lighter brush, and then it's pressure sensitivity. So the harder you go, the harder it's gonna be still. And then with that, I go even lighter if I want to shade. So let's say I want to add a little shadow on the eye. And I'm gonna show this more in the main video too. I just want to give you a tutorial before we get too much into it. So I want to add a little shadow. I want to add a little shadow like that. You know what I'm saying? Turn the opacity down. Do your shadows and whatnot. Let's say I want a different color. All I gotta do is go down here, grab a different color. Put it on so y'all can see it. Yeah, add a different color. You just go in there and lighten it up like that. Boom. Ooh, that looks real cool. Nice little highlight vibe. Add another color on top of there. Say okay, shoot, I wanna add some streaks in the eye. Make it slimmer. Turn the opacity up a little bit. And then boom, hit it like that. Okay, boom. You want some highlights? Go to the white. Turn the opacity down a little bit for the highlight. Increase the size of the brush. Boom. There you go. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you pick your brushes. All of these are different brushes. I got a lot of nice brushes on Clip Studio Paint. This is a Clip Studio Paint tutorial, so this is for Clip Studio Paint, but more so than anything, I want to just describe how to cultivate forms, how to shade correctly, what opacity to use, just how to draw stuff. So I'm going away. We're finna get into the actual tutorial now. Oh yeah, and don't forget layers. So when you're doing them, so your layer window is right here. So let's say I want to add a layer on top of that, or even if I want to duplicate this layer, I grab the layer, right click, grab, bring it up, duplicate. Now I have 2 of those layers. So if I want to erase one, I can bring it back. And that comes in handy because let's say I shade something, I don't like it, I can always go back and take it off. So I was like, oh no, I don't like that line. I can go take it off real quick. So layers are good, and I can also have like a layer for just shading. You know what I'm saying? If I got shading on here, boom. I can have my shading on this layer. On the other layer, I can have my highlights or whoop the whoop. So when you see me in the video switch between layers, I'll explain it again in the video, but I just want to give y'all an update before we start. Yes, sir. So we in here. So right here, I'm just, filling in the eyebrows, adding in the subtle details, trying to make out the face to the best of my abilities. I sped it up a good little bit so that way, y'all won't be sitting here for, infinity and beyond trying to learn how to paint. So for things like this, you just gotta do your best to make out the shapes and figures. I had a really hard time with the nose, which you'll be able to kind of see here. Looking in hindsight, I can definitely make out that shadow better now that I've already painted it. But when I was actually working on this thing, I could not get that nose right for the life of me. It took me a good couple of times to really get the shape of the nose right. Because when you get into realism, you really notice how, especially when it comes to like portrait artistry,
you start to notice how much everything matters. Like the most subtlest thing, once created correctly, will really, bring that person or that character to life that you're painting. Um, because, our eyes, they're so intelligent, our brain is so intelligent. It's crazy how we can pick up on, all of the subtle nuances of a face, what I'm saying, so quickly and rapidly, So in art, you have to do your best to try to recreate that level of perfection and detailness, in your art. So, yeah, finna be quiet and let y'all continue to watch, have fun. So this is whereas artists really get into your bag, details matter. So all of those little strands of hair, it really makes a difference when you go in and mark them down individually. Don't be scared to go that extra mile because like they say, what's that saying? A true man's character is determined by what he does when no one's watching. You know what I'm saying? Versus what's being done when people are watching. So, you know, it makes a difference. Go the extra mile, add every detail. That's what really makes a difference between a great artist and just a mediocre artist because you're willing to go the extra distance. And even though people might not be able to see, unless it's another artist, really analyzing the artwork, won't even really pay attention to all the little bitty individual strands of hair. But, that's the level of detail that we try to go to when you become a visionary. So, you gotta do what you gotta do, you feel me? So right here you see, me hop to a different layer and go ahead and add in some shading. I was really trying to really capture the contour of that nose because it wasn't looking right. So want to go in with a little bit of shading just so I can get an idea of, what that looks like. Once I started to put the shading in there, um, and, really contour that thing on out. All right. I don't know why my mic has been acting kind of weird, but so now we're getting more into the sauce. So now we're getting the contour in on them locks in the face. I really pushed the limits of the locks a little bit later. You see me, extend them out in certain places because like I said, the point of art to me is to expand on what's already there. Let's take reality and let's take it another notch up. Let's have fun with it because in all actuality, the way cameras and stuff are set up and even with the AI stuff, like, you know, um I can just take a picture, right? Like as the customer or as the artist, you got to get in the mind of the customer or the consumer. And just even as an artist, just looking at the art, like for me it's always been about taking that art, taking what I'm creating and actually creating something that's more than what's already there. So I don't want to just take art and just purely replicate what's already there. I want to take it and add my own creative input on what's being presented. You're supposed to take that art and take it to another level. So I like to always add a little razzle dazzle to everything that I cultivate. So as you can see here, we're just finishing up, adding details, adding the crinkles into the shirts, defining all of those different lines and contours, and yeah, bringing our shape in. I think I ended up giving my boy a little extra bicep action. Like I said, the art is always about expanding what's already there and just having a little fun with the shape. So right here you can see you got it going on the fingers and you really don't have much to go off of. So it's moments like this where it always helps as a digital artist to actually have some knowledge and experience with art, you know what I'm saying? And then people really downplay the art of tracing. Even though you're tracing it, you have to know what's there without what you're using to trace. So like on fingers, if I don't didn't have any type of knowledge of anatomy of a hand or a finger, I wouldn't be able to replicate this. It would just look blotchy. It wouldn't have form. It wouldn't have shape. It wouldn't contour. It wouldn't look correct. And even you see, I add certain contours and just shape just to make, like I said, to push the limits of what's there. Let's just add that little bit of almost like an anime effect, push the limits of reality, make his hand more masculine, make it more, give it more character, give it more shape, give it more vibrance. All of these little subtle nuances really, have a grand effect in the totality of the piece.
Nice, nice, nice.
So right here you see we add a little subtle smirk to him because it's the little things that matter. Like I said, you want to exude joy. I wanted the family and the friends that when they seen it, even though it's super subtle, that subtle thing could be something that would be able to transmute a level of joy and happiness, and just let them know that he's in a happier place and that he's happy, and give the picture a feeling of just ecstasy, happiness, make people smile when they look at it. I love putting smiles on my art pieces because it's something something so spiritual about seeing a smile that just makes you smile. Definitely had to look up a reference and try to figure out how to actually draw this Coca-Cola because you couldn't really fully make out the logo on this picture, so I did my best, but I think I ended up looking up a reference so I could get that Coca-Cola logo down correctly. So yeah, I think that's what ended up happening there. Then I switched and jumped forward a little bit, got into the coloring. So whenever you color in, this is the same throughout Photoshop and other painting systems, and especially Clip Studio Paint. All you want to do is go to the corner over there and you see a paint bucket, so you're going to use the paint bucket tool to basically go in and fill in those major spaces. But you also, when you do this, you want to make sure you have two layers. So you're going to have one layer with the line work and one layer with the basically you're just duplicating the line work that you already put down. On one layer you fill it in, and on the other layer you use that as the lines that sit on top of the coloring, because if you just do it on one layer you'll lose all of the line work. So you want to make sure, that's a major point, make sure that you separate it and put the line work on a different page than you put the actual coloring, the base coloring. And then you have another layer, and that line work layer is on the top, right? And then you have another layer for each level of shading. So for me, usually I end up with like 15-20 layers, because I have a different layer of shading for the highlights, I have a different layer of shading for the base shade, and I have a different layer of shading for the dark tones, and then I have a different layer of shading for, like, let's say the hair or the clothing. I try to keep everything organized. And then sometimes you might want to just try things. You might want to just put certain limits when it comes to the way you're shading things. So, you never know. So right here, I'm just kind of laying down the base level of shading. I believe it was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning at this point. So I just wanted to lay something down so I can get a general outlook of where everything is going to go. Just a real rough draft of the different shading layers. And that's another thing that is extremely beautiful about digital art, is it allows you to organize everything, so you can put this level of shading on a different layer, and you can really just have fun, push limits, and just see, okay, this might go right here, this might go right here, and then you can always come back on top of it and contour and really etch out and perfect those different strokes and different levels of shading. So that's what I'm doing right here. For instance, you see that dark level of shading right there. This is where you pull out a different layer. You're not going to do that on the same layer you did the base layer of shading, because we're testing things out. We're trying to see how things look. We're playing with different colors. We're playing with different levels of opacity, just to see what things look like when we push those levels of shading. So on this level, I just was going through, hitting the blacks where the blacks need to be real black, hitting the shades everywhere because I just really wanted to, see where stuff is. Boom. Then you can go and see that's the difference. When you use a different layer, now I can go back with the eraser. I can turn the opacity down, and I can go and just directly on on the layer in which I added the dark shadow, I can begin to contour and knock some of that shadow down. So this is a very, very essential part of the process. So right now, I'm just trying to figure out what color makes the most sense for his skin. So you can't necessarily grab from the paint bucket in which the natural color is on the photo, especially on the photo I had because it was very bad. So this just comes with experimentation and trial and error. So you see I go through a lot of different steps and places in order to really discover, okay, what's the best color for this man's face, because yeah. And that, once again, that's where multiple layers is the hero in this place, because you can try things on one layer. If you don't like it, you can erase it, or you could turn out opacity. You can try different things, and you can just really kind of play with those different colors and opacity and brush densities until you discover that perfect medium for the painting that you're trying to do. Another thing that I absolutely love about digital art is the zoom in capability. So you can zoom all the way in, get right up on them lips, get right up on that nose, right up on the eyes, anything that you need to touch that might have been, hard to really hit that level of detail on the actual traditional physical painting. You can zoom all the way in and get as tight and as intimate as you need to get in order to, really push those limits of the painting and just take it to another level of realism that would have been really hard to do in traditional painting. And like I said, majority of this stuff is happening on separate layers, and we also have the Control Z, which is the backspace button. So if you make a mistake, never be afraid of that Control Z. Just to back up a little bit, on the top left hand corner of the screen, you can see you can just hit the back button in Clip Studio Paint. That'll allow you to go backwards and backspace out of certain things. So I think I looked at this color and I was like, that's a little bright. So I think I went back in and took that out, or just painted on top of it with the skin tone, just to bring it more subtle. I think I went slightly darker, and then like I said, separate layer. Went in with some highlights. Go ahead and play with them highlights. Lay down, figure out what color is the best for the highlights for his face. Because man, highlights really do something to pictures, especially in digital art. It's just, I really love the effect a good, bright, pretty highlight adds. Because like I said, this is art. So we're not doing art. Of course, we want to replicate, true reality, but at the same time, we want to extend and push the limits of reality. Like I said, once again, that is the point to me of art, is to really push and extend those levels of beauty and just make it real maleficent and really just out of this world. You want people to look at it and be like, wow, that's beautiful. Like, wow, look how bright that is. Like, wow, look at that highlight. Like, wow, his skin is literally glowing. Like, whoa, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So these are the type of effects and emotions that you want to convey in your art. And I mean, you can just see how much of a difference that makes. And I'm just, kind of playing around, laying down different levels, trying to discover things and play with different looks and see what looks good on this picture right now. What colors fit well, and just the subtle things, just that little lip line and that little light on top of the lip. Just look how much that makes that lip pop out and how much more realistic and just expressive and multi-dimensional that lip looks, just with that slight highlight, that slight touch. And then even the darks, I love the darks as well, because once you add that little hint of darkness, it's like, okay, his mouth is actually slightly open. Whoa, look how much that actually does to the painting. Look how much more dimension it has just off that slight dark that slightly dark highlight or shadow that you add. Pushing the limits of your darkest darks and your brightest brights, creating all of those different contours. And a big thing that one of my art professors in college told me was, art is about describing and expressing dimensions and levels. So a big part of art is just being dimensional. You want to show space, you want to show dimensions, you want to show levels and depth. That is what art is truly, expressing depth and just levels. That's what makes art. That's what makes good and fine and high level art. Your ability to express and just describe dimension and show space and bring something 3D. And like I say, with Crystallized Vision Studios, it's a 5 and 6D art community. We're trying to touch those levels of depth in art and expansion, and bring that to a 2D surface. You want to bring something that's flat and make it look like you can walk into it, and that it's multi-dimensional. That is the true, essence of art, high level art anyway. I mean, like, come on, look at them lips. Look at them lips. Now, what are we doing? Why is them lips starting to look so real? Why is them lips looking like You know what I'm saying? Why are them lips lipping like that? What are we doing right now? What are we actually doing in these brushstrokes? We're adding depth, we're adding dimensions, we're adding levels. That is what's creating that look, that's making that look like it's 3D, look, making it look like you can just touch them lips. You know what I'm saying? No homo. You know, you're going in and you're hitting it with levels and levels and levels, adding dimension and dimension and depth and depth and depth, feeling, touch. Your eyes can touch things. You can literally look at something and you can describe the texture of something just by looking at it. You know what I'm saying? You can literally look at something and describe how it feels, right? So you want to play on that thing that our mind does. And that's how you do art. That's how you do high level art. You want to make somebody look at something and be able to touch it and feel the depth, feel the levels, feel the smoothness, feel the roughness, feel the ruffles. You know what I'm saying? Feel the darkness, feel the brightness, feel the light. All of these things are feelings. So you want to convey that in art. And like I said, it's the little details, all the little specks of hair, all the little crinkles of hair, all of those things add to all of our sensory organs, and it allows us to feel these things. And let's dive deeper. Let's add more depth. Let's add more dimension. You know what I'm saying? Look how that face is starting to come together now. And all we're doing is adding depth, adding dimension, adding shadow, adding highlight, adding levels, adding space to something that is flat. And you just, that's what art is. It's a constant. It's almost like, you know, you ever seen the movie Jumper, or you have to be into, ooh, in color. You see how we added that flesh tone? We added that red right there above the eye, and that gave it a flesh feeling. That gave it a warmth. That gave it a different dimension in a sense of color. So boom, had that right there on the cheek. Add that on the neck. Ooh, okay. Ooh, I'm loving how that looks. Boom, add that on the cheekbone. Wow, wow. Look at that. Look how much brighter that is. Look how much more lively that is. You can feel that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. And guys, this is not me tooting my horn. I love art. You know, I truly enjoy art. You know what I'm saying? So it's stimulating to me. I was here when I created this, but just looking at this is stimulating. And then here on the locks, this is where we, like I said, we go in and we stretch the limits of art. We stretch the limits of reality. We add curls that are unnatural. We add, you know, pieces and nuances to the piece that is unnatural, but we follow up with multiple levels of reality, multiple levels of dimension. Feel like we never stop. So yeah, now we're going in and we just going crazy, adding all these different levels, all these different levels of shade. And these are the nuances. It's black hair, so you really can't even too much see this, but you do see it. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's almost like gravity, right? Like we don't even really see gravity. We don't even really acknowledge the fact that gravity is a thing in our reality, but we notice it, right? Because if you jump, you're gonna come back down. If you fall, it's gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those laws. If you sit down, you're gonna stay, right? You're gonna feel the weight. You're gonna feel your body. So it's one of those things where, you know, you might not necessarily all the way notice it initially, but it's a thing that is there that is essential to making sure and ensuring that this is a true masterpiece, that this picture works. It's only going to work really the way it needs to work if it's being worked. And if you do the work, it's going to work. You know what I'm saying? So don't be lazy. Put in that extra work. Do all those things. Do all the things that you might not even feel like people might notice, because somebody's going to notice, and that person is going to notice. Is going to notice. and it won't be unnoticed because it was noticed by the person that needed to notice it. And that person might be that person that says, hey, today I'm going to invest, 100,000 into this person's art career. I'm going to invest 5,000 into this person's painting. I'm going to hire this person to do a mural for me because I see the detail. I see the curls inside of the hair that he didn't have to do, but because he did it, I'm going to bless this young man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bless this young lady. So never downplay the things that we do. Never downplay your creativity. Never downplay the details. Go into the details, explore the details, and enjoy the details. The details is what makes life life. So once again, we're going into the details. You feel me? So it's like, who's seeing the shadow of the hair curls? I don't know, but I'm gonna do it because it's the details and it's needed. It exists in this painting. It exists in this creativity, and these are how you add levels to it, right? So the shadows and stuff that I'm doing right now, the neck don't really fully exist, but as an artist, I love these details because it gives the art piece a different level of supernatural beauty, right? It's just different. It's just like, damn, his neck is popping. Whoa, he must do neck workouts. Did he play football? I don't know, but it looks good, right? So let's get into it. So I believe we finna get into this shirt. So watch what we do to this shirt. Look at this shirt. It has depth, but it's not giving depth. Like, we need to give this depth. We need to be able to look at the depth and see more depth. We need to see that the depth has depth, right? That's the only way art can really be art. The depth has to have depth. So we're getting another layer and we're adding depth. We're adding the shadows. We're adding the contours. We're getting into the details. We're taking the details that are there and we're pushing the limits of that detail. We're taking that detail and giving the detail because the detail is where it's at. The detail is the art. I was gonna say that, they say the devil's in the detail, but no, we not fooling with him right now. Right now, God is in the details. Right now, perfection is in the details. Right now, success is in the details. Right now, the thing that separates you or the winner from the loser is the details. The thing that separates Michael Jordan from Scottie Pittman is the details, is the 1,000 shots a day. The thing that separates Kobe from Dwayne Wade or LeBron James is the details. You know what I'm saying? It's the nuances. It's the things that you do when people aren't watching. That's what really takes you as an artist or you as a creative or you as a winner to that winner place. It takes you to a place in winnerness that can never be beaten. A place in winnerness that can never be outwon. A place in work ethic that can never be outworked. You feel me? It's the details. Now look at that now. Look at what that depth make a picture do. You feel what I'm saying? Now watch what I'm gonna do to it. Oh, the highlight. Watch what that highlight do to the picture now. Now that's different levels of shading. First you go with an intense, radiating bright light green, right? And then we go with a slightly lighter green, and to accentuate the bright green, to lay on top of the neutral green, to just accentuate the dark green, right? It's levels. It's the depth. It's the texture. It's the touch. You know what I'm saying? Highlights are everything, man. Highlights are everything. It's like a highlight reel, but it's for your artistic ability. You know what I'm saying? You see that right there? What I just did? It happened real fast, so it's hard to catch it. But I switched layers because one green was on top of a green that the bright green needed to be on top of the dark green or the neutral green in order for the neutral green to shine. Skip forward. You know what I'm saying? It was too much sauce I just expressed, so I had to just skip forward a little bit because I ain't wanna blow y'all minds with that detail work we was just doing. So yeah. Now we a little bit more in the future, and in this future, it's levels. It's just levels on levels, blocks on blocks, of details and shading and highlights and darks on top of the neutral. This is the key to success. I'm explaining art, but this is really and truly the key to success in any realm in life, especially artistic realm. Is the levels, it's the depth to which you do something. Mastery comes with, they say it takes 10,000 hours to master something. It takes 10,000 brush strokes to paint a Picasso. It takes time to create these things. And it's in a way it's the love of the grind. Now look how this shoulder has some dark shadows, right? The other shoulder has bright shadows. It's knowing where the light is coming from. It's knowing where the light is coming from. The dark shadows can only be that dark because the bright shadows are accentuating the darkness, and they complement one another. It's yin and yang right here on this man's shirt, man. Okay, so right here we get into some skin. So like I said, with the skin is dimensions, is levels. So if we just left him light skin, right? We just left him with that one level of shade. It wouldn't have gave flesh. It would have just gave skin. It would have just gave a color. When you add the level, look at this arm and look at that arm. You know what I'm saying? Look at the two different arms, right? It's two different complete levels of depth and flesh. You feel one side. You can't quite feel the other side yet. But once you start adding those oranges, once you start adding those reds, once you start adding the flesh tones, now it starts to feel alive. Now it starts to feel like more than just a screen. It starts to feel like, whoa, I can touch him. Whoa, I can feel the blood rushing through his veins. Like, I feel his life force now because you add in the flesh tones. Now it's giving life. It's giving human, right? So now we're just going in and it's details on details on details. It's layers on layers on layers. It's depth on depth on depth. And we sampling some skin tones from the face. That's why I like to do the face first, because I can tackle every tone in the body with the face, and I can just go back there and use it as a reference as I begin to lay down the layers on the rest of the body. So taking those darks on the skin, you don't want to do too much with the darks on the skin, because like I said, it'll take it out of that flesh toneness and it'll take it out of the realism and bring it to a place of it just make it flat, right? Darks are great. It can definitely be used in the skin, but you want to make sure that you ease into it. You don't want to go too dark on the skin because it's skin. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that it's still grounded in reality, but we're stretching that limit. You know what I'm saying? Look at these hands. That man ain't got all the muscles in that hand, but shit, it's art. I want you to feel it. I want you to be like, wow, he's a strong young man. You know what I'm saying? I want you to feel it when you see it. I want you to feel every detail. I want you to know that up under that skin there's bones, right? It's the details, it's the levels. You know what I'm saying? So that is always a major emphasis when you're creating art on this level. So now we back with more details. We back adding depth. Now we got the flesh tones in. Now let's add the shadow tones. The shadows are shadows, but it's shadows of the skin. So the shadows are mirroring the skin tone. So these are not the dark darks. These are just darker tones of the skin that is already there, because it's the shadows is being created by the skin. So with these are just, slightly darker, than the skin, dark tones, just to let you know that, light exists in this form. Light is refracting and reflecting, and creating contours within the skin, not within darkness, not within just light, but within the skin. The skin is a compilation of light. The skin is a mirror of light tones and flesh tones and multiple dimensions and depths, all layered into one space. So here we're going a little bit darker. Why? Because this is a space in which it's no longer just the flesh reflecting light. Now it's the darkness and the shade of the light reflecting on the opposite side. Like I said, the yin to the yang. On this side is dark because it's a super bright light. It's super bright at the top because the sun is coming down. So your light source is now reflecting and it's creating a dark because it's an absence of light up under the hand. So that's why you can go to those extreme levels of darks. And like I said, with art, you always want to push the limits a little bit. At least for me in my particular style, I like to push the limits because I just feel like it creates more contrast, it creates more dimension, it creates more life in a painting. So now we're going back on top of that with a low opacity dark brush, and we're just going in and darkening our darks, and just like I said, adding to that contrast, adding to that vibrancy. Look at that shoulder, like look at that sleeve. That's the most majestic looking sleeve I've personally ever seen. That's a crazy sleeve right there. So, now we're taking this time to, go around, okay, where can we make the darks darker? Where can we add more contrast to that light source that's being given and reflected? How can we make this shirt look even more alive? And like I said, how do we create art? How do we create high level art? How do we make something 2D, 3D, and 4D and 5D? It's by adding levels and levels and levels of dimension, detail, and depth. And like I said right here, that the bright light is being now hidden up under the thumb and up under the light source. So now we can take it to a dark. But you go on top of it with the eraser. That's why I said different layers are the key. Go on top of it with a low opacity eraser, and you can erase down some of that shadow to just give you that perfect level of transition and opacity and depth. Seeing that, okay, it's bright here and it's falling deep into the darkness of the shadow, within the Coke bottle, within up under the thumb. So now we're just like I said, pushing those levels, adding those darks to the skin, just so we can have a lot of depth and character inside of this painting that we're creating. So right here, we're just going in with some highlights in the hair. Like I said, it's the details. So I wanted to cultivate, just a little reflection action coming from the halo, just so we can know that okay, this is reflecting bright light, and it's coming from the halo, and it's raining down from the heavens. So go in with a fine brush and just create your super brights, and then we're gonna go in after the super brights with a lighter bright to ease down that that high brightness. And this just kind of accentuates the locks, makes you focus on wow, there's a lot of hair in his head. Whoa, look at those details. And I just love the way highlights look. Like I said, it's probably one of my favorite parts of art. It's just those highlights. Highlights do so much to a picture, and just create those different levels of color and depth. So right there, I was just kind of playing with some different opacity levels and different settings. Well, I'll get into those in another tutorial, but as you can see, we made it to the finish line, guys. So I love this painting. I would probably say, like I said, it's one of my favorite digital paintings. And you can see just the details, even from having this little beautiful message there left for the family and friends. I think I said in the beginning, but dear Duff, you are loved and will forever be remembered in the hearts of all that know your smile and beautiful energy. Rest in peace, King. You will be missed. Literally, I had a couple people cry when I read that to him, because that if you know him, that's a fact when it comes to him and his energy and the way he moved. A beautiful person. So I had a great time doing this. That's a little Photoshop work, like I said. I will get into those, a little later in a different tutorial. But when you add some Photoshop knowledge with some good artistic ability, man, it's some amazing things you can do. And that's how I kind of cultivate that background. And this is just me, going through and showing y'all one more time where we came from to where we're at. All of that is cultivated by depth. Being able to bring in depth and just being able to see things and push those limits of depth and reality. And we still have all our levels, so a lot of times you can even make images off of the image, but I had a great time making this tutorial. Hope y'all enjoyed it as well. I hope y'all learned something. Peace, love, and light. Y'all stick with me, man. Y'all keep on subscribing to the vibe. You see the before, man. You see the after. Come on now. Tell me we not, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you better tap in. Just tap in, go ahead and join the game. You see, then I had to go ahead, of course, put a visionary V on the chest just so people know what time it is. But high vibration and meditation lead to manifestation. What's your vision? You know what I'm saying? Manifest a day with crystallized vision. This is more than a clothing line. This is more than just a brand. This is a lifestyle that we're creating here with Crystallized Vision Studios. If you need any dream crystallized, if you need business consultation, if you need art classes, if you need um, help just understanding your life, astrologically, if you need help just loving yourself, tap in, man. Let us help you to crystallize your vision. Crystallization is about bringing something into its purest and most beautiful form. Crystallization takes millions and thousands of eons to crystallize something. So it's not something that happens overnight. Take your time, find a mentor, and let's crystallize your vision today. Peace, love, and light. See y'all next time. Peace. I am the I am artist.